Tirza Barnes-Griffith of Tirza Motivates. And this afternoon, we are talking about how you can realize your worth and how to build healthy self-esteem and confidence. I am so happy and so proud that you made the bold and brave decision to join me this afternoon. It is no easy task admitting that you may need some additional help in any area of your life. And today, the fact that you stepped up, joined in, and you may be at work, you may be at home, you may be on the road, whatever you are doing, the fact that you logged in right now with me is an honor towards you, a celebration to you. So ladies, give yourselves a shout out. Hey, ho, yes, yes. All right. So let me lay the foundation for you in terms of what's going to happen over the next hour, hour and a half, or the next 90 minutes, let's say. I'm going to give you some really concrete tools to think about in terms of how do you take your confidence to a much higher level. I am going to introduce to you my Realize Your Worth 6 formula that is coming, and it's a 6-step process that is going to help you really move your esteem and your confidence beyond where it is today. Okay, are you with me? Excellent, excellent. If you are with me, it's important that you communicate to me, okay? See, as a speaker, as a trainer, as a coach, when I am live and I'm in front of an audience, do you know what gives me energy? You give me energy when you talk to me, when I can feel you. See, I can't see you, unfortunately, but do you know how we can communicate? Via the chat. If you have comments, if you're feeling something that I said, if you're feeling like you want to just like do the Holy Ghost or something, whatever it is that you want to do, communicate that via chat. Let me know. I have a support team behind me that is holding me down. They see your comments. They see the questions coming in. And by the way, questions can go to the question and answer section. So I will respond as swiftly as I can because your engagement is so important to this learning experience. A few other things I'd like to tell you about in terms of, hold on one second, give me 1 second, in terms of what will make this a great learning opportunity for you. First and foremost, close any programs that are on your screen. Anything that is going to be a distraction towards me and you intimately connecting to each other for the next half hour, dead it. Okay, I just want your attention. And you know what, I'm not trying to be selfish here and say all eyes on me. This is actually about you and your development. You made a decision to be here during this time. Avoid anything that's pulling at you because you deserve this time to take care of you. Okay, excellent. Do you have a drink? Do you have a beverage of your choice? Do you have snacks? Because I don't want you leaving me during this next hour and a half. Hang out with me, okay? There will be some excellent golden nuggets and tools that I am going to share with you. And I hope that either you have a tablet, a Surface, an iPad, your phone, whatever you need to take down notes in addition to the old school fashioned pen and paper. You know, I still use the pen and paper. I appreciate the pen and paper. But whatever it is that you need to take down really good notes, I would love for you to do that. Another thing, you may be looking at me in a very small square box. I would like to invite you to make me big, okay? You have the option to stretch out the box, the image, and you can move it to the left, you can move it to the right, you can move it to the center. Certainly the PowerPoint slides are important and they will reinforce much of what I'm saying, but I am a presenter who has high energy, and I want you to feel my energy because I want everything that I have and everything that I put into this learning experience to reach you truly. And so that's why I'm on video, because I believe that when we have this intimacy with each other, you can really feel and connect to me in terms of the learning experience. Another thing, I have notes and I may be looking down, I may look to the right or to the left because my team may be telling me something or communicating something that you shared with me, or I may be flipping pages. Be patient with me. You know, I worked hard, I did my homework on this, and I want to make sure I'm able to share with you everything that is critical and valuable to you learning what you need to learn. Can we agree to that? Everybody say, hey, hey, hey. If you agree, you got to let me know. Say yes. All right. Wonderful. Moving on. So I want you to stick around and hang out with me because I have another free goodie coming your way, another free opportunity. It's my bonus gift to you because you join me today. But guess what? You will not be able to access or even learn about that bonus gift if you don't hang out with me to the end. So please, please, please stay with Tirza to the end. I promise you it's going to be something that you appreciate. Okay? All right. So a little bit about me. Wow. Well, why I'm doing this today, this very topic of self-esteem and confidence, is because I was an addict of low self-esteem and confidence. I was a young woman who actually was a fatherless daughter and raised by a single mom who did her best to raise me and her brother. And by the way, she did a phenomenal job. Was she perfect? No, but she held us down and she loved us and she did the best that she could do. But that doesn't mean that I did not have experiences that impacted my self-esteem. It doesn't mean that I did not have experiences that made me not realize my worth. I felt like I was a mistake. I did not value myself. I did not understand anything about me in terms of my uniqueness and something special to me. You know, I always say, you know, that's the time when I was much younger. Oprah Winfrey, you know, she had her talk show and everyone loved Oprah. And I looked at Oprah as another female, another woman, another Black woman. And I thought to myself, she's the special person. I'm not that person. You know, she got that special sprinkle of giftings that did not come to me. And so in turn, me thinking that way really impacted how I viewed myself. And so what you're looking at are images of who I call the fly girl. See, I was fly on the outside, but I was empty on the inside. I was so caught up in the superficial trappings of confidence, like being attractive, being the pretty girl, being in relationships, and thinking if I had name brand clothes on and if I hung out at the right parties and if I was a part of a certain crew, that I would be accepted. That you know what, that would validate me. And so in that search for validation and the search for love, because I did not have my father in my life. And now ladies, if you can feel me on this, and if you feel that, you know what that's like, you start looking for love in all the wrong places. That was me. And so I was in unhealthy relationships. I had toxic friendships. I'm going to the club. I'm hanging out. I'm chasing after success. And so, you know, I'm pursuing college and doing all these things because I think these are the things that are going to fulfill me. And on the outside, it felt good. But you know what? I couldn't go home and be alone. I couldn't sit by myself because my soul and my spirit were void of purpose. I did not have a healthy relationship with myself. So I was at war with the inner self. I was at war. I had to have music playing in the background. I had to have the TV on. I had to have friends come over, or I had to go out and keep myself busy because dealing with myself was just too much. See, I didn't love, value, and appreciate myself. But today, I stand in front of you many years later, a confident, secure woman. And I am that way today because, ladies, I put in the work. I did the work to get where I am at today. And I say that in the most humbled way because, trust me, the journey of where I came from to where I'm at today required me to learn to be humble and to submit over some things that were not in my control. But thank the heavens, today I live a joyful life. You know, I know what it's like to not have inner peace, and I know what it's like to have inner peace. And let me tell you, I will take inner peace any day, because that inner torment, it's a suffering, it's an inner struggle. And so, ladies, I come to you today talking about this topic for several reasons. One, it's my personal experience. And two, as a coach, which I will share with you more, I have worked with so many women and I meet so many women who struggle with this very thing of low self-esteem and confidence. And they're chasing after all the wrong things and trying to reach a certain place in their lives, yet there's a missing piece. And I'm going to talk about today what that missing piece and how you can attain it. So it's interesting that my journey started with me going through an experience of low self-esteem. And by the way, I'm going to pause for a minute and say, you may be going through a difficult situation and you may be asking the question, why? Why am I experiencing this? Why me? Well, why not you? Because your experience, one, is going to make you stronger and make you the woman that you are supposed to be. And it's going to touch and reach someone else and possibly change someone else's life. Okay, every pain has a purpose, and my pain has a purpose. It had a purpose, and that purpose is to me to be in service to other women. And so, interestingly enough, my work is to help women pursue and achieve their full potential, to really get to a place where they are thriving and they are self-actualized and they realize their worth. And so I do that as a motivational speaker. I do it as a women empowerment coach. And additionally, I am a training specialist. So all day, every day, in some capacity, I'm connecting with people, I'm inspiring people and reaching people. And I'm ever grateful for the giftings and the talents that have been bestowed on me to do this work. And you know what? It keeps me humble because I have to continue to remember where I came from. Where I came from. You can't forget where you came from, ladies, because your past has a purpose. And so in my work, I provide group coaching. I have the opportunity to work for a phenomenal organization called Grace Institute. And there I work with hundreds of women a year, training them in professional development, providing them with personal coaching, and really just encouraging them to really chase after what's theirs in spite of the pain, in spite of the hurt, in spite of the challenges. And I know that there are some ladies on the line this afternoon who are from Grace Institute, and I want to say, what's up? And I'm so happy you are here, and I hope this is beneficial to you. But in addition to Grace, you know, I juggle multiple balls, ladies. I'm doing multiple things at a time. That's how God wired me. I can't help it. I do one-on-one coaching. And so I have the opportunity to work with a number of women one-on-one where we meet with each other, and I get to give them my full attention, and I get to receive fully from them so that I can help them in different areas of their life. If you want to learn more about this, I'll talk about that later. In addition to visiting my website, where you'll see testimony after testimony about how I have been able to impact other people, which I'm ever grateful for, and ever grateful for the people who have trusted me to do that. Okay, so remember I said I have a lot of balls in the sky, ooh, 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 right? Hey, yes. One being, or another one being, I am a mom and a wife. Family certainly does matter to me. I have two beautiful children, my daughter Cassia, who's 7 years old, and my handsome boo-boo son. His name is Iman. Ladies, he just loves on his mother. You know what he says to me every morning when I walk down the steps to go to work? He says, "Mommy, you look beautiful today." Or he'll say to me, "What do you have on today, Mommy? Let me see." That little boy is going to be, watch out, watch out, watch your daughters, watch your daughters. He's coming, he's coming. And then my daughter, she's the other one, so she'll be like, "Mommy, I don't like that outfit on you today." Or she'll say, "Mommy, you know what? That's not professional." She checks me. So I have these two amazing children, not to mention my fine husband, who is ever supportive and ever loving to me, and is holding it down now and picking up the kids at this very moment so I can be here doing what I love to do. And so that's my life. But here's the interesting thing. Who would have imagined me? Let me say me. My mother believed in me. She imagined this for me. But I did not imagine that my life will be or would be as it is today. Because, see, that young woman right there, she was broken and she didn't see the future. I, at that time, could not see the future and the possibilities of all of this today. Who would have thunk it? Who would imagine that I would be standing here today doing what I'm doing? But you know what? I put in the work and I am being rewarded. I am being rewarded. I did not give up hope, and I had faith, and I pushed through. And by the way, ladies, understand that when I speak about my life, don't think that I'm saying it's perfect. Okay, don't think that I'm saying, oh, I have arrived, because I certainly haven't. I'm a constant work in progress, and I'm constantly learning, and I'm on an everlasting journey to become this better woman. And I'm going to talk to you what I mean about the evolving woman in just a minute, because you know what? We're constantly growing. We're not meant to be that woman of perfection right away. It takes time. And I'm going to talk to you about that. So, I know what it's like to experience having low self-esteem because one, I've experienced it, and two, I've worked with women who have experienced it. And tell me if this sounds familiar to you if you're struggling in this area. Loneliness, resentment, consciously continuously self-conscious about who's watching you, what people are thinking about you, what people are saying, feeling anxiety, worry, fear, this insecurity, this heavy self-doubt that comes over you, a level of depression and being disconnected, feeling stagnant in your inability to move and achieve the dreams and the goals that you have. Or how about not even believing or even thinking or positioning yourself to have dreams and goals? Feeling unloved, blame, hurt, anger, guilt. My goodness, it's consuming. It's consuming to be in this place. If you feel me, ladies, please let me know. Let me know if there's anyone who can be truly honest and say, you've had or you are feeling this way now. Does this sound familiar to you? Okay. When we are in this place of all these negative emotions, what happens is we begin to block the pain and put up a defense. We get into defense mode, right? I'm thinking about my son. He does all this Power Ranger moves, right? Let me do a little Power Ranger move. We get into defense mode. And what we do is we start to build up these defenses so that we can get some value and worth. And so we can matter and have significance. But all we are doing, that's so superficial, because all we are doing is suppressing our deep embedded emotion. We are trying to be the perfectionist that we weren't created and destined to be. We drive ourselves to succeed, trying to move up the ladder in our career, make more money, buy the house, drive the car, have this certain image about ourselves that only keeps us chasing after this superficial thing. And then when we don't achieve it, what we do is punish ourselves, self-inflicted punishment. And then when people try to help us or hurt us, they become our enemy and we attack them. When we help people, we do it because we're looking to be valued and appreciated. Again, that's so superficial. And we're trying to be something that other people think we should be. And then our behaviors don't reflect the woman we should be and that we're destined to be. And we associate with people who don't appreciate us for who we are. And so what is the result of that? It doesn't empower us. It doesn't impact us. It only buries us in this deep, low self-worth. But there is hope. There is another side to the experience of having low self-worth. It's just the opposite. It's having high self-worth. And look at what it means. It means that you can have joy, inner peace, focus on what matters. Sometimes we're focused on all the wrong things, being busy doing nothing. Assertiveness, being able to assert yourself and speak up for what matters to you and what you value. Having an inner strength, being authentic, being bold, being courageous, being reflective. Ladies, you want to arrive at a place of self-worth, you must continue to reflect on yourself and look at yourself and keep it 100. You have to keep it real. And if there's some things you need to work on, you need to be able to admit that. Being hopeful, being free, being changing, ever changing, moving, and being flexible with life and the world and what the world has to offer you. This is the experience of high self-worth. And you can arrive at this place. So I'm going to walk you through how we get here. But before we get there, you need to know some things, some very important and basic things about everything that I'm going to share with you. I want to lay down some facts. I want to speak to you about some truths so that you are on the right track. All right, I'm looking at my notes because I'm keeping myself up to date here in terms of what we need to do before we begin. So the first thing I want to say is what you're learning here, it's not a substitute for therapy. Sometimes we as human beings deal with heavy emotional burdens that are far beyond what you might learn here today. And if you have a sense through your learning that what you are experiencing is much deeper, then you should go seek out professional help. There's a stigma around going to get professional help, and it's wrong. If you need additional support, get it. I am a huge advocate of going to a therapist. As a matter of fact, I've seen a few myself, and it's all good if you find the right one, I'm saying. It takes time to find the right one sometimes, right? But if you are dealing with something like, heavy anxiety, maybe schizophrenia, maybe a learning disability, maybe a chemical imbalance, something that's beyond your control, go seek help. However, don't leave me if you feel that way. You still got something to get out of this, because you have to have the practical everyday tactics to get you through as well. The second thing you need to know before we begin, there is a difference between low self-esteem and casual self-doubt. Let me break it down for you. When you have low self-esteem, what happens to you is that you become immobile. Your self-esteem begins to dictate what you will do and what you can do, how you think, how you move. And in turn, because of your low self-esteem, you're not taking the steps that you really should in your life. And if you are doing it, my hunch is you are doing just enough to get by. Meanwhile, the world is waiting for you. Opportunity is waiting for you. Blessing is calling you. Yet, because you're consumed by low self-esteem, you become paralyzed. Your mind thinks a certain way, and the mind will impact the body and what the body does. It will impact your actions and the risk that you take, or the level of risk that you will take to get where you want to be. But when you have casual self-doubt, ladies, we all go through it. It is not an abnormal thing. Everyone has, the most confident people have, casual self-doubt. And casual self-doubt comes and goes. And how do you know there's a difference? Because when you have casual self-doubt, even though you may have a level of fear and worry and this slight anxiousness that might arrive because maybe you're about to approach a new task, you're about to enter into a new experience, you may feel casual self-doubt. Maybe you feel overwhelmed by a task, and with that, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't manage this. However, you push forward. That's the difference. However, in your mind, there's a belief about yourself, and there's an inherent message in you that says, if I don't do it, I'm risking something big. And I have to take the risk, and in spite of the casual doubt, I'm going to armor myself with faith. I'm going to have hope and believe that the universe is going to guide me, and through my skills and my natural abilities, I will succeed. And you propel and you push forward. So there is a difference. What I am trying to get at this afternoon with you is, listen, if you have casual self-doubt, hang in here with me, because you are still going to learn something. But I really want to get at the deep, deep, low self-esteem that women are struggling with. I really want to unpack that. I really want you to go deep and begin to peel back the layers of the onion and begin to heal. That's the purpose of this time together with you. There's also a difference between self-worth and being conceited. There's a difference between the two. So when you are conceited, there tends to be a level of cockiness, and your ego and your arrogance is like over the top. You have this exaggerated sense of importance. That is very different from a woman who's walking in self-worth. When a person has to exaggerate their importance, that means that they are lacking, and they realize that they are lacking in that worth and value. And so what they do is try to put on more than what it actually is. So when I explain to you what self-worth is, please know that I'm not saying be cocky, be extra and put a higher level of importance on you than really what you actually deserve. I'm not saying that at all. There's a difference. The next point is, you have to be willing to go deep. You have to do the work that I call the work of an inside job. We have to move beyond the superficial external things that give us validation. And we have to go in and work on and heal and validate the women we are from within. And when you go deep, ladies, it doesn't feel good. because you have to confront and face some things that you've been burying, that you've avoided, that you stopped talking about, or you choose not to talk about or address because of the pain. But in order for you to evolve, the next point, evolve as a woman, you have to embrace the pain. Part of pain and the purpose of pain is to move us and propel us to a new level in our lives. And in terms of the evolution of women, we were not meant to automatically come out of the womb, grow to be a young woman, and then be a mature woman, and then suddenly we are at a place of perfection. That's not how we were created. Let me tell you how I had this epiphany. I was home one Sunday. Well, let me give you the backstory. I'm not a very good cook. I don't cook a lot. Shout out to my husband who does a lot of the cooking, and he does a great job at the cooking. You know, I have my strengths, and my strengths are in cooking. Now, does he think I should probably gain better strengths in it? Sure, certainly. But God bless him for his patience. But one Sunday, I had the inspiration to cook 2 meals. Prepare my Sunday meal, cook it, and marinate the chicken so that when I come home from work on Monday, all I have to do is pop it in the oven. And that Sunday, as I'm cleaning the kitchen, I felt so empowered. And I said, look at me. Look what I accomplished today. I was feeling myself. I gave sometimes you got to give yourself a pat on the back. And here's what dropped into my spirit. That the evolution of a woman matters. And that it is not destined for us to automatically be at a certain place. We evolve, we mature, we grow through our experiences, through our knowledge, through our learning, through our understanding. And so that knowledge, that learning, and that understanding sometimes comes from pain. Okay? And so it gave me hope. And I hope this message gives you hope in terms of stop trying to be this perfect woman that you feel you should be. It's not your time yet. But what you should do is keep working at it. Be better at it. And so I bring you to the Proverbs 31 woman. If you know the Bible, you know about the Proverbs 31 woman. Who is she? Well, she is the woman of perfection. And I remember years ago when I got married, I thought, oh my goodness, I will never match up to this woman because she is a woman of pure excellence. She brings home the bacon. She makes her own clothes. She has her own business. She holds down her household. She manages her maid servants. See, back in the day, they had maid servants, right? And it said that her husband and her children called her blessed. I thought, wow. And I would eventually or very quickly close the book because I thought this is just way too much for me and it's overwhelming. I can't do this. I don't know how I'm going to arrive at this place because it ain't looking too good for me. But again, it's not meant for us to be that woman. It's meant for us to evolve and grow to be that woman. All right? So be patient with yourself and love on yourself. The other point that I want to say is that realizing your worth is a process. It takes time. It's not a quick fix. And it's not going to happen overnight. It requires you to do the work and to do the work every day in some form or fashion. It requires you to be patient with yourself. And again, to love on yourself. Be compassionate to yourself through the process. And pat yourself on the back whenever you make an effort and when you do something well. And when you fail, say, get back up and try again and forgive yourself. That's what self-worth is about. That's what confidence is about. When you can actually arrive at a place when you say, I'm not great at this. I know I have flaws. I know I have weaknesses, but I'm still okay. And I got more for you on that. The last point that I want to make before I give you the jewels is that my perspective as a woman of faith is very simple. God is the one true source of deep self-worth. I cannot stand before you today and take full credit for the process of me being who I am today. And I can't take full credit for the woman I am becoming. Because if it wasn't for the grace of God, would I be standing here? Absolutely not. And the reality is, without him, I'm a hot mess. Okay? That's my partner in crime. So I'm not here to preach to you today. That's not my intent. But understand there has to be a spiritual aspect with any work that you do on yourself. It is very much a spiritual journey, just as much as it is a practical, everyday, get up and go journey. Are you with me? All right. If you have a comment, if you have a question, let me know. Let's pause for a minute. I love to hear from you. How are you feeling about what you are hearing right now? Is it resonating with you? What's one thing that maybe stood out for you? Type a comment, ask a question, whatever. Your energy is so important to me, and it's wonderful to know that you are sticking with me and that you are fully engaged. Okay. So, in order for us to reach this place of self-worth that I am speaking about, it's important that you believe in yourself and that you trust yourself, your instincts, your wisdom, your internal capacities. You have to trust the inner voice that is guiding you and leading you to reach that process. If you don't believe or have some hope for something better than where you are today, or however you might be feeling today, then it'll be very difficult for you to arrive at the place that you want to be. You have to know that there's something so powerful within you, because you are so wonderful as a being. You are wonderful. And that true wonderfulness that though you may not realize, I don't know if wonderfulness is a word, but it sounds good, okay? That wonderful thing within you will guide you if you trust it. The instinct within you will guide you and show you and speak to you in truth. So what I'm asking you to do as we go on this journey, and as when we leave and you continue the journey, that you do one thing for me. You believe. There's a beautiful quote here that I would love for you to read with me, okay? Because this is important to you moving forward. I believe that there are talents and gifts inside me. Point to yourself, me. I believe I can transform my obstacles and challenges into victory. I believe if my goals are to be, it is up to who? Point to yourself, ladies, me. Who is it up to? It's up to you. So point to yourself, saying me. I believe in this world. I am destined to make a difference. Ladies, do you want to make a difference in this world? Do you want to make a difference for your children? For other people's children? I know I am going to achieve because I believe and I know I must proceed. Yes, you must proceed. And so that's what I'm calling you to do. From this moment on, you must proceed and reclaim and take your life back. And don't let anything stop you from getting to that place. All right. Woo, got me started. I'm a little hype. All right. Are you with me? Any comments, any questions? Come on, send them through. I love to hear from you. Okay. Now that we are in the place of realizing how much we must believe, let's begin. Let's begin. So let me break down these common terms that you keep hearing. Okay, these are words and terms that when you think about a person of high esteem and self-worth, well, you keep seeing the words worth. You keep seeing the words esteem and confidence. So what does it mean to be a woman of self-worth? It's how you see yourself. It's how you see yourself. Or how it's this idea that you see yourself as either intelligent, beautiful and attractive, or you see yourself as unintelligent and unattractive, right? I'm just giving you those two scenarios. So how you see yourself and what you believe you deserve is about self-worth. That's how we break down self-worth. So what do you believe you deserve? Do you deserve good or do you deserve bad? Do you deserve to live a life of fulfillment or a life of rejection? What do you believe for yourself? How do you see yourself? What do you believe you deserve? And how do you perceive yourself? You know, perception can fool you. because your perception may be you are not deserving to be valued and have great worth. Perception might tell you you are not worthy at all. And so these are things that we have to deal with and discuss and continue to, chip away. Self-esteem. Let's talk about self-esteem. So what is that? And I'm going to go back. Here's a slide that gives you a very concrete definition of self-worth. It's respect and a favorable opinion of yourself. I love that. You favor yourself and you see yourself in a favorable, good way. That's beautiful. Imagine living like that, where you favor who you are. All right, moving on to self-esteem. So self-esteem is who you believe you are. It's the I am. I believe I am intelligent, powerful, successful, accomplished, strong, determined. I believe I am this person, and I hold myself in high esteem to that belief. Or are you the opposite? I am not good enough. I am not perfect. I am not qualified for that job. I am not good enough for that man. I am not a good mother, a good daughter, or whatever it might be. So it's what you believe you are. And what I want you to be able to do is walk, ladies, in that power of I am all things positive. And though I may not be perfect, I am a wonderful woman. I am a powerful woman. I am a talented woman. You have to walk in that power. You have to earn that. How do you earn that? I said earn that. Well, the earn comes from the work. That's how you earn it. And I'm going to talk to you about the work shortly. The next piece is the confidence, the self-confidence. It's what you believe you can do. So this is about what you can do. So when opportunities come your way, do you say I can or I can't? Do you believe that you're able to fulfill a new job role? Do you believe that you're able to fulfill and do well at a new job, at an opportunity of being a wife or a mother, just to give some examples? Do you believe that you can do whatever it is that your heart desires? See, here's what I know is true. There is something that you want to achieve in your life. There's a dream that has been put in your heart. There's a desire that's dying to break free and be pursued and be achieved. But if you are saying, I can't, you are holding your dreams hostage, and you are stealing and holding your future captured. It's like your dreams are on lockdown when you say I can't. Your dreams are on lockdown. Your future is on lockdown. Your family is on lockdown. Because as long as you're not doing what you need to do to pursue dreams, you are holding the dreams of your family back too. So when you say I can't, what you're saying is I don't believe I can actually carry it out and pursue it. But can we turn that language around? Once we start doing the inner work, you can move into the I can. So what's the common denominator between the self-worth, the self-esteem, and the self-confidence? Does anybody know what the common denominator is? Well, yeah, it's you. It's you and yourself. It's all about you. So what does this mean? What does this mean? It means that you need to be accountable for you. It means that you have some work to do. It means that I cannot propel you much further than giving you information. At the end of the day, I can provide you with information. You can read books. You can go to workshops. You can go to a therapist. You can hire me as your coach. Hint, hint. Right? You can do all of these things. But at the end of the day, if you don't take ownership for your future, and let go of blaming people who may have helped you to get to this place of feeling like you're not worthy, then you will forever be where you are. You are the common denominator, and you have the power to move beyond the place that you are at. So What does it look like to be this woman who takes full control of herself, takes full accountability? What does it look like to be a woman who takes personal initiative and who finally arrives at a place of realizing her worth? Well, you face and manage emotions differently because you're more self-controlled. You avoid perfection, and what you look to do is pursue excellence, ladies. Don't be a woman of perfection. Be a woman of excellence. That is attractive. You live a purposeful life and you pursue your potential because you believe that there is something great for you and new levels of greatness. When you reach one level of greatness, you should be going to the next thing. Always be thinking about what's next. What new opportunity is there? Because you are created to do multiple things in life that are fantastic, not just one thing. You begin to see failure as a learning opportunity. See, we get stuck on failure. When we're dealing with low self-worth, what happens is that once we try something, it doesn't work the way we want it to work, and then we stop. We quit. Because in our minds, we believe and we see ourselves in a way that we cannot achieve because the first time we tried, it didn't work. So automatically, you let that be your destiny. You let that be your purpose. That one effort. It takes multiple efforts to get where you want to go. It takes work. It takes new challenges. It takes new approaches and new ideas to get to a place where you want to go. And every time you don't succeed at that goal that you have, you're learning something new. And a powerful woman who knows her worth takes the learning and applies it to make what she wants to do better. She sharpens her pencil. She doesn't quit. She doesn't give up. We forgive people when we have self-worth, and we deal with people accordingly. See, understand, this whole conversation of self-worth certainly is connected to the people in your life, how you let them make you feel, how they want to make you feel, how much they validate you, how much you look to them to validate you. That's a really important piece to you realizing your worth. We serve others without expecting anything in return. We do it because we enjoy doing it from our hearts, because it's part of our purpose. It's part of why we were created and put on this earth. We avoid people who are not good for us. We start eliminating people. And we accept our flaws and our imperfections. I love that piece about self-worth. Like, to be true to yourself and to be true to others and be like, hey, listen, this is who I am. It's not perfect. I get it, but I accept that about me. Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about accepting yourself and what you may need to do if there's some things maybe you shouldn't be accepting, right? We're going to get to that. But understand that as women of excellence, of course we have flaws and imperfections. Of course we do. And that's okay. Own it. Own it. And people will appreciate you for that instead of acting like it's all good all the time, because that's not really how life works. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Now that you know what self-esteem is, self-worth is, self-confidence is, and now that you understand what your life could look like walking in the shoes of having self-worth, I want you to chart your level of self-worth. And this is where I'm going to need you to chat with me, ladies, because I want to hear from you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your level of self-worth? Now, if you are on the end of the 1, 2, 3, 4, that typically means that how you see your self-worth is on the low end. That means there's some work to do. As you get higher up to the 6, the 8, the 7, 8, 9, 10s, what's happening is what you're communicating to me and to yourself is that you realize that you are valuable, you realize your self-worth, and you're on a higher scale. So where are you? I'm going to give you a few seconds to rate yourself. Where do you see yourself? And I'm going to sip some water while you're rating. Okay, I see some numbers coming in. Okay. I so appreciate your honesty. I see 5s, I see 7s, I see 8s. Okay, so you're in the middle, and as you reach to the 8s, you're higher up on the scale. Excellent. Kudos for being honest with yourself. Kudos to you for reflecting on this. That's a really important piece. And it helps you to really decide which way you need to go in terms of how you will continue to enhance your self-worth, continue to build yourself up. So in order for us to begin realizing our worth, here's where the challenging work comes in. We have to get at the root of the issue. Why do we struggle with low self-esteem? Why do we struggle with not realizing our worth? Why do we not put more value on ourselves as we should? I'm going to give you a heads up that what I'm about to share with you can provoke some emotion. It's deep, it's heavy, because it pushes us to look at some things in our lives that maybe we don't want to admit or deal with. And what I also want to share with you is that typically low self-esteem begins as a child. There are experiences that we have that start to bring about or make us question our validity and who we are. It typically begins as a child. So when I go over these things that are considered root issues of low self-worth, I want you to think about in terms of your adulthood, but also in terms of being a young child. The other piece I want to say about emotion is that emotion is not bad. Let me correct that, because emotion can be deceiving. But when you feel yourself becoming emotional, like your eyes start to water or something happens in your body because you are seeing an image or you are hearing something that brings you back to an experience, that emotion is part of where the breakthrough begins. I embrace crying. I embrace you tapping into your emotions, because that is where something needs to happen. And when you avoid it and when you shove it under the carpet and don't deal with it, what you're doing is preventing yourself from moving forward into your potential and the things that you're destined to be. So ladies, embrace the emotion. It's okay to get teary-eyed. It's okay. And write it down. When it happens, write down what it was that provoked that emotion. All right, moving on. Let's go through these root causes of why one might deal with self-esteem. Write down what resonates with you most. And I invite you to even chat with me and let me know what are the things that resonate most with you. Traumatic experiences. Traumatic experiences and events in our lives, like abuse, like being violated sexually, or being abandoned. These things can have a huge impact on how you see yourself, especially if they were never appropriately addressed, especially if you haven't healed from them, or if you weren't given the right validation in terms of your personal experience with the trauma. You know, there are thousands of people walking around in the streets who have experienced traumatic events. And when they are not appropriately dealt with, it impacts how we see ourselves. And so if you've had a traumatic experience, like disaster, loss of a family member, loss of a child, or abuse, or whatever it might be, understand that that can be a contribution to how you see yourself. Having conflict with parents and family, or not meeting the expectations or standards of your family and your parents. So if you were in the middle of conflict in your household, what you might do, or what you might have done, is take on the responsibility and begin blaming yourself, thinking you are the fault for that. Now, that is not true. But what is true is that it is about you in terms of the emotion that you picked up from that conflict in your household, or in any environment that you might have been in. The whole idea of not meeting the expectations and standards of parents is also a challenge, because see, what we do as parents, and I'm a parent, so I get it. What we do is put an expectation in terms of what we want our child to do, right? You know, sometimes we live vicariously through our children. You know, a joke that I have is that my daughter better be a cheerleader, because I wanted to be a cheerleader so bad in high school, and I wasn't, for different reasons. But you know what? I wanted that dream. I wanted that desire. And now I tell my daughter, girl, you're going to do it. You're going to be a cheerleader when you get in high school. Are you going to have this experience? Now, the truth is, if she never wants to be a cheerleader, I'm all good with that. It's all good. But I'm secretly living through her, hoping that she would have that experience. That's something small. But for other people, you may have experienced something so much deeper that it truly impacts how you value yourself, because you're thinking, I never lived up to the standards of my parents. I never met their expectations. Many of us have been told to be certain, to do certain things in terms of our career. Pursue this education, this area of your career. Study this in school. And we never had the opportunity to actually tap into ourselves and see what we want to do for ourselves. And we did what our parents wanted us to do. And then suddenly we find that we are not fulfilled and we are unhappy. And then we have to live with that for the rest of our lives. That impacts our self-worth. Poor academic performance, that certainly does connect to parent expectation. But you know what? Sometimes when we're not doing well in school, and you know what? I was one of those kids who did not love school, nor did I do super great in school. And I do believe that attributed to my self-worth. I do believe that. And I had a conversation with my mother about that, and she helped me to understand what happened. Where was the breakdown? Where did things go wrong in terms of her investing in my education? And what I learned is that she didn't get the investment she needed in her education. And so having conversations with people, as a sidebar, is a really important tactic to understanding why things in your life have happened and why you are living and feeling the way you are feeling. But when you have poor academic performance, that can attribute to many different things, like a learning disability. Who knows what it might be, but it's hard to be a child, or even as an adult, to not be able to catch things and capture things. That will play on your self-worth. Being different, or being a part of a family or group that people have prejudice against. Tell me if this resonates with you. So, you know, I talked about my academic experience in school. And when I think about school, another story is that my mother decided to bus me out to Queens. I grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn. I'm a Brownsville girl, by the way. And my mother thought the best thing for me would be to go out to a school that is more diverse and predominantly had white children. So I was one of a few Black children. That really played a part in terms of how I saw myself. I was different from the other kids. And I had this perception or this stigma that the other children were better than me because they had different experiences and better experiences. And part of it was, well, if you're white, you have more privilege, you have more opportunity. And at just such a young age, I had this mindset. Now, where did it come from? Maybe I overheard conversations. Who knows? But going to that experience, or going in that school and in that environment, though I'm glad my mother made the decision, understand that that impacted me because I knew I was different. And what was missing are those real conversations about who I was in spite of who I was around. And so I was living with and moving with this as an adult. It carried into my adulthood that I'm less than this particular group of people. If you know what I'm talking about, please speak to me. I'm talking real talk right now. This is real. Being a part of a family or a group that's different and has prejudices. Well, we all experience prejudices in different areas. You know, what if you are a woman, a Muslim woman who wears a scarf on your head, you know, that is something that can cause prejudice or a bias against you. And being a child who is in an environment that doesn't embrace that can play with your worth. Having as role models people who have low self-esteem and they speak negatively. So think about it. You have as a role model, or someone you trust to care for you, a person who doesn't love themselves. So they don't value themselves. They speak negatively to themselves and speak of themselves in a negative way. And when they don't appreciate themselves, guess what happens? They look for people to take it out on. And then you are told that you are things that they feel about themselves. Sounds familiar? Being neglected, repeated neglection, being neglected repeatedly, or experiencing punishment or abuse, such a sad experience, such a sad thing to go through, but it's true. If you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the pyramid of the hierarchy of needs, in order for us to reach a place at the top of the pyramid, according to Maslow, that top of the pyramid is self-actualization, where you are fully present with yourself, you know your worth, you know what you should be doing in your life, and you're chasing after it. But in order for us to reach a place of self-actualization, we need some basic needs. One of those basic needs is safety, feeling loved, feeling secure, feeling like when you are in the place that you call home, or when you are going to someone's house or going to school, it's a place of safety. When that is snatched from you, you begin to lose your worth. Not to mention being on the receiving end of other people's frustrations and stress. Being on the receiving end of other people's frustrations and stress. So when a person is emotionally challenged or distressed on their own, maybe they deal with depression, maybe they have some emotional issues. You, being the person that may be close to them, on the other end, receive the emotional abuse or the physical abuse. This could happen as a child or as an adult. It can happen in your relationships. It can happen with a friendship. You know, this is not something that's immune to just childhood. This can happen right now in your life. It can happen on the job with your supervisor. Lack of praise and affection. So this also connects to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We need to have love. We need to feel appreciated. We need to hear that we're special. And if you grew up and you did not hear that, that can play on your worth. If you're in a relationship right now and you're not receiving these types of love languages, it makes you feel like you're not valuable enough, because the person who you are looking to love you and to adore you doesn't. And so in turn, you begin to question your worth. I want you to check out the 5 love languages. Gary Chapman, he talks about the 5 love languages. It's a book. And he says that when you're in any type of relationship, the ability to understand your love language and the love language of others impacts how strong your relationship will be. So this idea of affection and praise, those are love languages. And I'm going to really quickly tell you the 5 because they're so important for you to evaluate if you're getting them in your life and if you're giving them to people in your life. See, it's not just about your self-worth. It's also about the people around you and how you make them feel in terms of helping them realize their self-worth, especially if you are a parent and you are raising children. So the 5 love languages: the touch, affection, words of affirmation, speaking positively to someone, spending time with someone is an important piece. Giving gifts is a love language, in addition to being of service to people. So these are ways that you can express yourself to people. And if you lack that in any area of your life, here's an opportunity for you to think about how you can change that. I see the chats blinking. If there's something that's coming up, I'd love to hear it. If some of this is resonating with you, let me know. Being bullied. So bullying is portrayed in many different ways, including physical and words and gestures. You know, this whole idea of bullying, it frustrates me so bad. And if you were a child who had to go through bullying, I'm sorry. It's a terrible thing. But understand that bullying also happens in the adult world as well. It happens in the workplace. It can happen in your home. And so understand that when you are bullied, it strips you to the core. It strips you of your essence, of your being. It takes away, even when you are a child and experience this, you are trying to figure out who you are. You don't know who you are. And then suddenly people start to tell you these negative things and make you feel a negative way. Oh my goodness, does it bring you to the core? Does it strip away everything that could be for you? And so this too can have effect on you. Confusing messages from media and society. We know about this, okay? You know, we're told in so many different images and in so many different ways how to dress, what to wear, what size to be. All of this too plays a part. You know, you think about music videos, you know, you see these females and how they're dressed and, you know, the size of their body. All of this plays a part. And you wonder, you know, do I need to be that way to be validated, to get attention? The negative internal dialogue. So I've been speaking to you quite a bit about how people may treat you in terms of what they say to you and their energy towards you, but you can be your worst enemy, ladies. If you are having negative internal dialogue and self-talk, beware. It must stop. You are abusing yourself. You are harming yourself. And this is how it begins. You think it, you speak it, you behave as it, and you manifest it. So you're putting that out there. You're putting in the universe the things that you're saying, I can't do. You're putting out in the universe what you believe you are, whether good or bad. So if you're having negative internal dialogue, you got to control those thoughts. You have to control them. Keeping a horrible secret, if you've experienced things like being abused in some way, or it's a secret that's of your own power and will, or it's a small secret, or it's a big secret, or it's out of your control, that too, if you carry that burden with you day after day, it will strip you of your worth. It will strip you of your worth. If you need someone to talk to, go find someone who's trusting that you can honestly share with to get it off your chest. So I laid out the roots of low self-worth. I spoke to you about what's the core and what's the thing that compromises how we value ourselves. Now, when you know better, you do better. I'm going to have a conversation with you again. I'm going to keep reminding you that you have to be accountable to you, that you have to take personal initiative, that this is the defining moment. What will you do now that you know? Will you run from it because it's too much? Or will you run to it and begin to deal with it? From this point on, I am going to offer you strategies and techniques to help you shape all this out in your head. But understand, you have to do something. You have to take full ownership of you becoming the woman that you want to be in terms of worth. This is the defining moment. Will you do it? Will you hold yourself accountable? Will you follow through? Will you run from, or will you run to? I believe in you, sisters. I believe that you will run to. I believe that you're ready for a breakthrough. So you can do it. Let's do it. How does it begin? It's the work of focusing on within. Everybody, I'm going to act like I can hear you. Everybody say within. It's the work of focusing on within. The inner life is the greatest source of strength and wisdom a woman could possibly have. What a beautiful saying. The inner life is the greatest source of strength a woman can have. Who you are on the inside defines everything about you. It is the most important factor for your life and for your family and for your future. How you cultivate and love yourself on the inside will make a difference to living a life that is full and fulfilling, and one that is empty. Just like you nurture yourself on the outside and you go get your hair done and you go put makeup on and you go buy that nice outfit and you get those shoes on your feet because you want to look good and you want to smell good. You take care of yourself on the outside, ladies. I am calling you and asking you today to step up and start taking care of your inner life. That's what this is about. And what does it mean to have a rich inner life? What does it mean to be a woman of great purpose and power? Well, I'm going to take you there right now. The path to you realizing your worth, to having healthy self-esteem and becoming more confident is based on a formula that I created. It's called the Realize Your Worth 6 formula. RYW 6 formula. I'm going to take you step by step to this formula because this is what cultivates the inner life. This is what matters before anything else. Again, this process is not a quick fix. It takes time and it will take work. I spoke to you about that earlier on in our time together. But I want you to be patient with yourself, and I want you to commit to working on this for a period of time. And that might be a year, 2 years, 3 years. It's okay, as long as you are doing the work. Here's what I promise you. If you begin, watch how the universe will draw to you good. Watch how you will automatically begin to attract and create within you this place of worth. It will happen for you, but you have to hold yourself accountable and you have to follow through and you have to appreciate yourself enough to do the work. All right, we good? Okay, let's do it. So here are the 6 steps, the 6 formula. The first step is self-awareness, self-acceptance, self-change, self-value, self-love, and self-preservation. Notice that I'm saying steps because you have to take step 1 in order to get to step 2, Step 3 must happen before you get to step 4, and then the remaining steps follow. It is a step-by-step process. What am I saying to you? I'm saying in order for you to get to a place of realizing your worth, you have to be self-aware. And once you begin to become self-aware, you begin to accept the person that you are. But just because you accept who you are doesn't mean there aren't things you have to change about yourself, for the good and the bad, right? Once you begin to change, you begin to value yourself more. You know, when you think about value, let me hold off on that. I'm going to tell you and walk you through value in just a few minutes. But as you begin to understand who you are, accept who you are, change some things about who you are, you value yourself more. And when you value yourself, what happens is that you begin to love on yourself more. And as you go through steps 1 through 5, the self-preservation is about you maintaining and taking care of the work, the self, the you. So are you ready, ladies? I'm going to walk you through each of these steps. I'm telling you, this is what it takes for you to realize your worth. I hope you have your paper and your pen and you are taking down notes, because I believe that if you follow these steps and if you cultivate the mindset of it's going to work, it will work. All right. By doing this, step 1, being self-aware, you are inviting yourself to know yourself better in new and different ways. Being or becoming a woman who is self-aware, who knows who she is and what she stands for, is a woman who uncovers the pain too. So the self-awareness is about several things: your strengths, your qualities, your passions, your interests, your purpose. It's understanding even your weaknesses. Yes, your weaknesses. And then saying, I'm also, so that I can understand these things on a deeper level, will begin to look at my past and understand some of the hidden wounds and the pains and the experiences that I've had, so that I can understand why I am the way I am today. That's deep, ladies. That's deep. You cannot just say, I'm going to take a personality assessment and understand my personality. It doesn't work that way. If you really want to get to the core of who you are, and if you really want to understand your worth, you got to stand in the mirror and you got to confront yourself, and you may have to confront some people about some past pains and experiences. But understanding yourself and being aware of who you are is also about your personal values. You know, I'm working with a coaching client right now, and most of our work is around her understanding her personal values, because what is occurring is that everybody is telling her what should be in her life. But you have to eventually come to a point where you make a stand in terms of what are your life standards. You define that. What do you value? What do personal values mean to you? What will be your life standards? This is the approach. This is part of you becoming self-aware. The next stage, remember, we're going up the ladder. Now that you are becoming more aware of yourself, you're paying attention to new opportunities, you're taking risk in new ways so that you can become self-aware, it's time for you to accept who you are. Acceptance is about having a comfortable acceptance of the reality of your life, both the limitations and your potential. Being comfortable being the way you are. Being comfortable with the realities of your life, the things that look good and the things that don't look so good. The things about yourself that are shiny and bright, and the things about yourself that are dark and gloomy. Understanding your limitations, what you can do, what you can't do, even the fact that you may have struggles with low self-esteem. And then being able to accept and believe in the potential and your future. That's self-acceptance. Appreciating your flaws and not working to mold yourself to fit a certain image or the image that people want you to have. Being full and free with who you are as you are. That's a powerful step. I am who I am. And knowing what are realistic limitations And what's casual self-doubt? And then taking ownership of your feelings, your thoughts, and your desires. What do I mean by that? If you feel a certain way, that's your feeling. Don't try to make people around you comfortable because you're worried about hurting them. If you feel how you are, hold true to that. That's who you are. If you have a certain desire, stand true to that. I'm thinking about something I read recently in terms of a wife who stayed at home. Her husband went out and worked. And her husband pretty much said how things would go from day to day. We're going to eat at this restaurant tonight. We're going to have vacation here. Call such and such and tell them to come over so we can invite them over. This was making his wife bitter and frustrated. Why? Because she did not have a voice and she wasn't speaking up. She wasn't articulating what she needed. And so she had to understand that in order for her to break out of this place of not realizing her worth, she had to accept the fact that, one, she has her own opinions and her own ideas and her own ways of doing things. And that it was okay to articulate that to her husband and be true to herself. That is self-acceptance. Are you true to yourself, even when people around you are telling you something different? All right, moving on. So we are now better understanding ourselves in terms of self-awareness, and we are moving in or have moved into self-acceptance. The next stage is self-awareness plus self-acceptance equals self-change. So what do I mean about self-change? So when I talk about this idea of self-acceptance to people, people get frightened because they automatically think, because I say accept yourself as you are, that doesn't mean you need to fix, that means that you do not need to fix some things. I am not saying that. And that's why self-change is the next step. Self-change means that you may have to do some work on you. So my question is, what do you know you need to change? You should draw a line in the middle of a piece of paper. On the left side, what are some things that you'd like to change that you want to make better? But what are some things that you want to change that are not good for you that you need to eliminate out of your life? When you make a conscious decision to change and to take action to move within that change, you move towards a healthier mental and emotional state. You become more satisfied with yourself. You begin to like yourself better because you're not walking in negative behavior and negative habits that make you dislike yourself. Think about that. So as you accept who you are, keep it real with yourself and say, but I need to change some things. And as you begin to change, what you do is initiate a wholeness within you. You begin to move toward this inner and outer connection with self that you can begin to appreciate. But change does not come easy. I'm going to keep it real. So we go through stages of change. The stages include, I want to do it, or rather, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. I want to do it. How will I do it? I'll try to do it. I can do it. I will do it. And then eventually you arise to a place where you're saying, yes, I did do it. But don't fear if you are at the bottom of these stages where you're going through this feeling of this is way too much for me. I've seen people over and over again quit because they think they can't do it. They quit and give up when the opportunity and the change is right around the corner for them. Push through, go through each step. And the more you push through, the more you don't give up and you don't quit. And the more you just believe in the possibilities, you will arrive to a place of, yes, I did it. We quit too soon, ladies. I gotta call that out. We quit too soon. So what? It gets hard. Nothing in life is easy. You're going to go through some difficult obstacles when you're trying to make a change and be a better person or arrive at a goal. But we can't be quitters. We are not made to be quitters. We are made to move forward and do great things in this world and on this earth. But if it gets too hard for you and you throw in the towel, shame on you. I'm going to be hard on you right now because there's something that you need to pick back up and get back to. You've been called to do it. You've been talented to do it. You've been purposed to do it. You've been gifted to do it. But you let fear get in the way. You let worry get in the way. You let all these negative things stop you from doing the thing that you're supposed to do. I'm calling you out on it tonight. And I'm asking you to please return to that thing that you're supposed to do and not quit. We are not quitters. All right. Y'all got me started. I don't know. Something happened there. I had to have a little conversation with y'all about that. All right. Moving on. Self-change. Changes are taking place by themselves. Listen up, ladies. If you go deeper into what you are, you heard that? If you go deeper into what you are, and if you accept what is there, then change automatically occurs by itself. This is the paradox of change. Changes take place if you just take the first step. And if you look deep within and accept what's there, the beauty and the flaws, change will happen automatically. Trust the process. All right, so we said self-awareness plus self-acceptance plus self-change equals self-value. So what do we mean by self-value? It's about how you treat yourself, how you value yourself. Do you treat yourself fairly? Do you adore yourself? Do you appreciate yourself? Think about a new Gucci bag. I'm going to just talk about a Gucci bag, right? Because when we get our hands on a Gucci bag, if you had your hands on a Gucci bag, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't had your hands on a Gucci bag, but if one day you got a Gucci bag, you also know what I'm talking about, because you're going to treat that Gucci bag special. You're going to value that Gucci bag. See, when you pack your products inside the bag, you're going to make sure you don't stretch out that bag, because that leather is the finest leather, right? You don't want to break that zipper. When you finish using the bag, you're going to stuff the paper in it, and you're going to put it in the Gucci bag, like this little drawstring bag. You're going to tuck it in nice and put it nicely up on top of your closet so nobody touches it or ruins it, because you value it. You treat it nicely. You treat it with care. You are fair to it. Do you do that to yourself? Do you treat yourself fairly? Do you treat yourself with kindness? And what does that look like? It's a behavior. It's less of an emotion and more about the day-to-day things that you are going to do to value you. To value you. So what does it look like to value self? It's a spiritual, it's a mental, it's emotional and physical behavior. Let me explain. The spiritual piece is you take time to nurture your spirit and your soul throughout the day, throughout the week. Praying, meditating, and whatever it is that you need to do to feel spiritually full and whole, that's what you need to do. Mentally, how are you protecting your mind? Remember I talked about the negative internal dialogue? See, when you're speaking to yourself in a negative way, you're not valuing yourself, sister. You're beating yourself down. You're not taking care of yourself. Okay? It's just like what you do with a Gucci bag. When you don't take care of your Gucci bag, you put it on the subway floor. When you speak to yourself in a negative way, what you're doing is putting your value, yourself, on the subway floor. Did that make sense? Did that land right? I don't know. All right. So the emotional piece, it's your emotional state. How do you protect your emotional self and in your feelings? The physical piece is, the working out, taking care of your body, eating healthy, doing things that cultivate a healthy physical you on the inside and out. These are just examples of how we value ourselves. Valuing is also about our personal values, right? I spoke about that earlier on in terms of self-awareness, and I'm going to bring it back up again. Because once you establish life standards, and once you determine your personal values, you have to stay true to them. And the moment you violate your deepest core values, what you're doing is violating how you see yourself. You're damaging, you're hurting how you see yourself. This is powerful. The moment you violate your values, you are stripping away your worth, because you begin to see yourself less than. Something to think about. So you have to go back to what you stand for in terms of life, but also for yourself. Who are you? What do you stand for in terms of personal values for self? And do you maintain them, and do you cultivate them and take care of them? Moving on. How are we doing, ladies? What are you thinking? Is this information resonating with you? Are you feeling the RYW6 formula? I love to hear from you. Love to hear your comments because this is important. I love to hear if it's resonating with you. So we went through self-awareness. Self-awareness plus self-acceptance plus self-change plus self-value equals self-love. Everybody hug yourself. Yes, love on yourself. I love me. I love me. Yes. You need to get to the place where you are able to look in the mirror and say, I love me. Okay? If I'm telling you, next time I run this webinar, I'm going to have people bring mirrors with them. And I'm going to have you look in the mirror and say, I love myself. And that's my challenge to you. Get to a place where you can look yourself in the mirror and say, oh, I love myself. And not in a superficial way. I'll never forget the time when I had that aha moment. I was on a women's retreat. And a mirror was behind me, and I happened to turn around, and I looked at myself, and I just said out of the blue, I love myself. And I said it out loud, and my girlfriend was there with me. And what I realized is that it wasn't a superficial thing like I was looking at my outer appearance. It was me claiming and stating, I love who I am on the inside. I appreciate who I am on the inside. And my girlfriend who was there, she said, yes, girl, I love me too. But you know what? It hasn't been an easy journey. It's taken a long time for me to get to that place. And maybe you feel that way. And maybe you're in that position where you're feeling like I'm not at that place. But the beautiful thing is, it can happen if you don't give up. When you love yourself, there's a wholeness and an inner peace and and a keen appreciation of yourself, of who you are. It's validation that goes far beyond deep likeness, though it is a deep likeness. You know, to like yourself and to be able to stand with yourself and live with yourself is a wonderful thing. But what I'm saying to you today is that you cannot get there if you don't do the first 4 steps. You have to become aware of who you are. You have to accept yourself. You have to change and fix and work on some things. And you have to value and take care of you. We put others before we put ourselves. Take care of you, queens. And when you do that, you fall in love with who you are. And so again, self-awareness plus self-acceptance plus self-change plus self-value plus self-love requires self-preservation. What do I mean by this? I'm saying you have to protect your self-worth. See, once you arrive at a place of loving yourself, you grow in your self-worth. You are arriving at your self-worth. But you have to maintain that self-worth. You have to ensure the survival of your self-worth. You have to keep on track to ensure the 5 previous steps are cultivated and are good so that nobody messes up your journey, so that nobody messes up your joy, so that no one or no situation gets in the way of your inner peace, the peace that you work so hard on. You have to grow and develop and continue to arise at a greater level of self-worth because your future is on the line. And when you have a positive future, you better believe challenges are going to come. Challenges are going to come. So I want us all to take a breath and breathe. Let's breathe. I'm going to breathe right now because trust me, I need to breathe. I've been doing a lot of talking. All right. So ladies, just join me in like a quick inhale, exhale. We are about to wrap up. I have a few more things I want to tell you, and then you are going to go off and do your work to realize your worth. But let's breathe. Let's breathe. All right. Are you ready? Inhale. And exhale. That felt good, and I hope it felt just as good for you. There's a lot that I said to you this afternoon. There's a lot of golden nuggets that were shared with you. And there's a lot to think about, and I realize that. And you may feel overwhelmed, you may feel stressed and pressured or whatever it might be, but my hope is that you also feel empowered and motivated to do something new and different. And so what I'd like for you to do as a call is to practice what's called CPR. As you get off of this line and as you move forward into your weekend, ask yourself some corrective questions about what specifically you want for yourself moving forward in terms of your value, your worth, in terms of how you're going to pursue more and greater self-awareness, in terms of how you will begin to accept yourself for who you are. Ask yourself questions. Asking questions and digging deep is part of cultivating the inner life. What do you need to change? What do you need to work on? How will you work on it? What will you do? Who will you eliminate from your life? Who will you invite in your life? What new behaviors will you start implementing so that you can begin to realize your worth? Then I want you to change your perspective. You have a choice. Your perspective could be I can, or it can be I can't. Your perspective could be I see myself as not capable, or I see myself as capable. The perspective is on you. You make that choice. Change your perspective and then get true about your reality. Get into reality thinking. And I want you to think about what about your reality needs to be shifted. What about your reality and how you think about your reality needs to be changed? Push yourself to ask questions. You have to ask the hard questions to yourself. You have to change your perspective, and you have to think about what you want your reality to be from this point on. Remember what I said. You are in full control of your future. This is about you and yourself, and you have to take personal initiative and accountability, and it begins with CPR. I also want to invite you to take advantage of an opportunity that I am presenting. I told you earlier that I have an additional bonus and another good freebie. And it's what I'm calling Camp Confidence. And this is an opportunity for you to realize your self-worth through my coaching program. And that coaching program is very easy. It's a complimentary 30-minute coaching session with me. All you have to do is visit my website, www.tirzamotivates.com, and click on the Camp Confidence Coaching Program. The Camp Confidence Coaching Program, and I will schedule, or you will automatically be invited to schedule a complimentary 30-minute coaching session with me. If you are looking for additional support in this area of building healthy self-esteem and confidence, ladies, you can't pass this up. Take advantage of this opportunity. I would love to meet with you. I would love to talk with you. I would love the opportunity to work with you. As I shared with you before, I worked with hundreds of women in many different capacities, including group coaching and one-on-one coaching. What you're looking at here is just some examples of what women have said in terms of the work that I have done with them. And I promise you, if you take the next step, which is to schedule your coaching call with me, you will not be disappointed. It'll be a great opportunity for me to get to know you and to really understand where your heart's desires are and how I can support you in terms of that. And if at that point you want to work together more, we can talk about it. I would love the opportunity to work with you. So again, visit TirzaMotivates.com and click on Camp Confidence Coaching Program. Ladies, we did it. We did it. I am so happy you joined me this afternoon. My hope is that you are walking away with some really good tools and information, and that you are feeling empowered to take action and take control of your life. I believe in you. I believe that you can do anything you put your heart to, you put your mind to. Believe in yourself as much as I believe in you, sis. Believe in, pursue, and achieve your full potential. I love you. Keep in touch. Visit me. Go online, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm there. Keep in touch with me because I want to see and hear and learn about your journey. Mwah! God bless you.